Hey guys, I've just hit 2300 on Rapid Chess, and I thought it would be good to show the game that got me there. So I played Ahmed, and he's a 2400, and in all honesty, I thought I would lose this game and drop down a bit, but we managed to win. Um, so let's go through this game. So we have the two knights defense, and I was hoping that we'd go into an Italian because I'm more of a positional player and I'm better at maneuvering rather than explosive games with lots of tactics, which I can still do, but there's more of a risk element involved, and I like controlling my games. But my opponent goes for the fried liver, which is this knight g5 move. Now I respond with d5, which is the only move really to hold the balance. And this is all theory. So this move here, if bishop goes back to d3, this is the top move because it hits the knight, and it can't really be defended with the pawn push because this bishop blocks the pawn. My opponent goes back to f3, and I go bishop d6, just guarding this pawn, preparing to castle. And we both castle. So I am down a pawn, but I do control the centre. His bishop's awkwardly placed, and I think I have a slight lead in development as these pieces are all out, and he only has two pieces out. This piece is very hard to develop in time. So the engine says this is about equal, but still a bit better for white. Right, so let's keep going with the game. So here I castle, my opponent goes knight c3, I go knight b7. Now in this position I should have gone f5, just threatening to fork. But for some reason I was too worried about this e5 pawn being weak, and I shouldn't have been worried about that. I was worried about him going here and just weakening my centre a bit, potentially. So in the game I actually thought this was a move, but I completely overlooked that this knight was protecting this square. So anyways, I go knight b7, just preparing to reroute here, playing it a bit more positionally. This is more of a aggressive move. So he goes rook e1, I go rook e8, he goes knight e4, attacking my bishop. Now I go bishop f8. Now the engine says this is a mistake and that I should have gone bishop c7 instead of bishop f8, but I went bishop f8 because I just saw his pieces coming this way, potentially queen h5, and I thought that it would be more important to cover my king side, and in the game it does actually turn out to be very important that my bishop's guarding this diagonal. So he goes here looking for queen h5 ideas. I go h6, and he goes queen h5, and this is a blunder. What my opponent's doing is playing hope chess. He's hoping that I just blunder a mate in 3. But this isn't checkers, I don't have to capture his knight. I can just go g6, which blunts this bishop, attacks the queen, and stops his mate threats. Also, as you can see, this bishop going back to f8 was very important because it guards this very weak pawn. So my opponent goes queen h4, and then I go f5. So this move really just blunts the bishop. I didn't want to rush with h takes and knight takes because I didn't want to allow any counterplay or threats, even though the engine says this is okay. f5 is actually the best move, so that was good. Then he goes bishop c4, and here I just take the knight, and here instead of taking back he tries to go for active play, just getting his bishop in, trying to mate me basically. And here I go for a bit of a think, and I calculate this line, takes, and bishop here. And I calculated that after queen h6, I wasn't in any trouble because I could sidestep and the queen has no more checks. So this is what I calculated in the game, and it actually happened. So I was relying on my opponent going here and just trying to get a perpetual, but there is no perpetual because I have the f8 square for my king. So as you can see here, you can't check anywhere here. His best bet is just to try to get a perpetual, but there is none. So I just get my queen in, trying to trade queens. I'm up 5 points of material, and I'm just trying to simplify the game. Develop my bishop with tempo, and I block. Note that if he goes check here, I can run this way, and his queen's basically trapped. So he didn't do that. He goes to f3. Now I just sidestep this pin, and here I'm completely winning, and all I need to do is consolidate and to make sure my king is as safe as it can be. Now when there's a passed pawn, the best piece to blockade a passed pawn is usually a knight, because it controls so many important squares around the passed pawn. So first I centralize my rook, and then I get my knight in. My idea was to go here and just stop any progress, close all the lines and consolidate my advantage. So here I block the pawn, and I allow this check because I just block. And my king here is super safe. It's guarded by pretty much all my pieces. And here I pretty much knew I was going to win. All I needed to do was simplify a bit and prevent counterplay. So jump in with my knight, attacking the rook. And he just gives away his rook, because if he goes back, he's getting forked anyways. And here I just take the central pawn. And here my plan was to go here and here, just make sure there's no chance of any counterplay. No c4 business, pinning my rook potentially, even though it's guarded. I just wanted to make sure everything was guarded. And here I attack the rook and also open line of fire to the undefended bishop. So he gives up his rook, and the game ends in style with knight e3. The threat is mate, and I'm attacking his bishop. If he moves, I can takes, and that's checkmate. And if he takes my knight, then that's Mason 2. So yeah, that was the game that got me to 2300 for the first time. Over the past year, I've climbed quite a lot with my rating. 2300 was my end of year goal, so I'm very happy with how things have turned out. And yeah, thanks for watching.